Guess what?
What?
We are live.
Oh, love it.
We are actually live right now. All right, fantastic. Um, man, this is what we were talked about last week. We got the goal differential right when we did our score predictions. We just didn't get the right score, but we
Yeah.
we did get the goal differential correct. While I blast this out to social media, why don't you give us your thoughts, Andres?
Yeah, man. Definitely a game of two halves for sure, right? So there was the first 45 minutes where we looked pretty lackadaisical, I guess would be the word for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that the King goal was not lucky, but it was, and I guess it wasn't against the run of play, but it kind of came out of nowhere, you know? It was like
Didn't
definitely
it
like a one
bother
off.
you that they did it like they were showing instant
Yes.
replay for something else, and all of a sudden they were like,
And then we scored.
right, it's like it's just the keeper to beat. I'm like, wait, what? What's happening?
Yeah, right. No, I feel you. That was a bit weird, and I think it just goes to show just how unexpected it was, right? So Hoiberg picks up the ball like middle of the pitch. Harry Kane makes a run, and Hoiberg, to his credit, plays a really good pass, splits the defense, and Kane does what he does best, right?
Yep.
But that was apart from Kane's shot that went off against the goalpost, like the second minute. That was probably like the clearest chance of goal that we had the entire first 45, right?
Yeah, for sure. Outside of the well, I think that free kick, Bale's free kick, where he kind of just dinked it over. I thought that was a really good opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Off obviously the one off the post was really good. I don't know. For the first 20 minutes, I I was so upset. I was like, they don't care. Nobody wants to
Yeah,
play for anything.
yeah,
And you're right. Like that goal out of nowhere. Like leave it to the unsung captain, right?
mm-hmm.
To get something going. But yeah, that was a really frustrating first half. Like really frustrating. I honestly the only player I thought was playing well outside of Kane was Dele. Oddly enough.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think even in the first half, I thought Lo Celso looked leagues better than he did last week.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, I think you're spot on about both of them. At least like keeping it on the first half. Dele played well, and he's always been really good at pressing, man. That's something that I think this team has lacked over the
right?
last couple of months. But since Mason has brought him back, I think that Dele has been slowly but surely getting up to speed, right? And Gio's an interesting one because he had some misplaced passes. Dele has some of his positioning I thought was a bit off. Like he was in the same vertical lane as Hoiberg
Yep.
very often, and that limits our passing options when we have a double pivot, right? So if the double pivot is essentially taking up the same space, it's very difficult to progress the ball, and that's something that Spurs have struggled with throughout this entire season. But he also had some really good passes, right? Like he had like two or three really nice through balls
Mm-hmm.
that kind of launched our attack. So I'm still happy to see him on the pitch. I do think that it's very clear now that Mason does not see Ndombele as
No.
an option for a deep lying playmaker.
Were you
He
surprised
sees
to see
him.
Winks come on before him?
I'm not surprised. No. Not for Mason. Like Mason and Winks like played together. But I am a bit surprised, I guess, that Tanguy is seen like as a strictly number 10 role, like him and Dele are fighting for the same position, rather than Tanguy is seen as someone who can progress the ball from the defensive slash middle third into attacks.
Right.
I don't think I would quite agree with that, but clearly that's how Mason has.
I wonder if there's something going on behind the scenes, though. Like it's the only thing I can kind of
What do you
wrap
mean?
my head around. I just with Ndombele, I just don't know. Uh, like, I just don't get it. I don't understand. Like the skill set is there. He's clearly great with the ball at his feet. I mean, he can really boss the midfield when he's on. And we also know that he needs to play consistently in order to get to that level and maintain that level. 5-10 minutes here or there, it makes me wonder what his future role in this team is, even going into next season. I mean, this could be just a way for our people to kind of assess like what we have, and seeing how Delhi can finish if he still has it, and maybe he's already locked in for a role for next year. I just don't get it. I can't see the logic past. Oh, they went to the academy together. Okay,
Yeah.
but like beyond like. I just don't
No,
see
I
the
agree.
logic, and it's mind-boggling, I think. So in my mind, I think his position is cemented for next year. I just don't know in which direction that is.
Hmm.
So
Well, it all depends on the next manager, right?
Yeah,
Like, it all depends on the next manager. And if I'm Ndombele, I kind of look through my time at Tottenham as pretty turbulent, and
yeah,
like only like he's been it's been limited success for him
yeah, for sure.
due to his fitness, sure, but also due to circumstances that are outside of his control.
Yeah,
Like Mourinho coming in, Pochettino being sacked, etc. I do think that if I'm him, I just wait and see who the next manager is that comes, and I wait and see how he's going to use me.
I feel like half the squad is in that position right now, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. But I think for Ndombele, it's much more important because he's still. I mean, he's a phenomenal player, and he would be starting at most top 5, top 4 clubs across Europe, right?
Yeah,
So if the next manager comes in and they don't see him as a starter, I'd probably pack my bags, right? What is interesting to me is that you mentioned earlier, I don't know if it was the last video or the video before, but you said that Levy had some weight in the personnel changes, right? So, for example, like, like asking Mason to play Gareth Bale, right? I wonder if he would ask him to play Ndombele because he is the player, like our biggest investment. He's like our top signing, right? And yet he's not making the starting 11. So I wonder if Levy, I could see him pushing for Bale for sure, especially because it's a loan. I wonder if he doesn't push for Ndombele and kind of just lets Mason do his thing for this season and see where it goes.
yeah, yeah. No, it's. I think it'll be really interesting to look back and obviously all these things kind of come out over a period of time, right? And
Right.
eventually we learn like what really happened. I think whether it's next year or the year after, to hear and Ryan Mason will say something like as soon as he leaves or goes wherever, to hear what really like what the thinking was and what the atmosphere was like and who was really pulling the strings. I think that'll be incredibly interesting to learn more about. But to stay more on the positive side, let's talk about 2 players that was really, really great to see. Really great to see play well. Maybe even 3. For me, it was I made the claim last video that I thought either I said both Rodon and Japhet Tanganga would get a run out. I was 1 for 2. I got the Tangang. What I didn't get was Rodon, who continues to be. I don't know. I'm not sure if Joe somehow kicked Mason's dog at some point. Like I don't understand it, but like to not even be on team sheets, it's a little bizarre. But I don't think our defense played particularly well. I don't think Wolves really put up such a huge fight.
Right.
But what I will say is what we said would happen last match, where we would press really high and they would try to catch us out on the break, and we would be susceptible to the goal. I mean, if Wolves had any shot of being clinical today at all, if they showed like a sliver of being able to finish, they could have scored a goal or 2 in this, fairly easily. And we'd be talking about a much different game. So I don't want to get overly excited. I don't want to give like too much credit to our back line. I thought they were okay. Like you said, Højbjerg was drifting really forward, kind of caught us out a lot. But I will say it was good to see Tanganga back. It's such a difference with him on the right side too.
It really is.
He's got such power. He makes these long strides, and it's a little different from Serge, right? But it's nice to have that kind of muscle sitting there.
Yeah, and like he uses his body very well.
Extremely well. Yeah.
Like he protects the ball extremely well. Whereas I think Serge is a bit more frantic. I think he's got the pace, absolutely, and I think he has more attacking ability. But defensively, he just puts. I mean, we all know that Serge is liable for like 1 or 2 fouls that lead to free kicks, that lead to some type of shot on goal.
We actually have a couple of comments. Simon Hemsworth says, "This is the third manager, just rolling back a little bit, who at some point has not liked Ndombele, which is suspicious." And this kind of goes back to what you were saying. I kind of agree. It's a little bizarre that it's like these ebbs and flows, and he wants, especially now, like he so wants to get back on that French Euro spot, right? In the worst way. And I know we're circling back, but I wanted to kind of address Simon. Thank you, Simon, for commenting.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It is a bit worrisome that every single manager that Tanguy has worked with has had some kind of I don't know, like chasm, kind of like of trust. You know what I mean? Like, like Mourinho literally had to roll up to his house and get him out of the house and train with him, right? So I feel like that's because the trust isn't really there that he's going to put into work. But that being said, he's an extremely gifted footballer that I want to see, get minutes. It's just a matter of maybe like something is going on in the background, like to your point.
You want to hear what Dele said after the match?
What did he say?
Hi guys, it's Dele here. Very happy with the win. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys back here Wednesday. Come on, you Spurs.
Okay. Simple.
All right. Was it a bit shorter than maybe we expected?
Yeah, but his social media team is all over him, especially after the debacle from what is it? I guess 18 months now. In the WhatsApp group debacle,
right?
Whichever player leaked that. I mean, we had a lot of dressing room issues that were never really addressed. But anyway,
hey, I did want to make a point. One thing that I've noticed that our team is really, really bad at, and I think this is the key to why we're not good at progressing the ball and why we have to sit torturously and watch Dyer, Højbjerg, and Toby Alderweireld just pass it along the line, back and forth. I think it's because when one of Højbjerg or Gio Lo Celso come in, look at their body shape. Look at how they're coming in to receive the ball. They're coming in square on, right? And when you're square on, you don't want to take a risk and try to turn, right? Because you don't know who's behind you. So you immediately pass it to the safest place, which is backwards, right? And I think that's why we see so many people drop and then pass it backwards. I think this is something that Kane can do. And I'm not saying that like this is inherently a bad thing, but when none of your midfield players can take a touch or like have their body in an open way in order to see more of the pitch, in order to see more passing options, that truly does limit where the ball can go, right? And Tanguy Ndombele is very, very good at not just turning very quickly, right, and using his body in like a very unique way, but also taking the ball in stride and trying to progress it, right, from the defensive third, whereas Højbjerg and even Gio Lo Celso are very, very happy to just kind of pass the opportunity or the responsibility off to someone else. So that's something I noticed in the first half. Second half, we were much better about it, and I think it's because we were much more open to those long passes. Toby made some great long passes for Son and Dele. And then also Gio himself found himself in pockets of space where he could turn instead of just immediately going backwards. No, so I just wanted to call that out because
he found those spaces very quickly. Dele also, I thought, does a really good job of that. He had those small touches that would free up space. There was the one by the byline where you just thought he was kind of dead in the water. And then he nutmegged, who was it? It was the Liverpool kid, the one from the Liverpool, Hover, or whatever his name is. And he just put it between them, ran around him, and it was running down the touchline looking for, I think that was Dyer, who was actually coming to the near post, oddly enough. But he had some really, really, really good moves. Actually, he's got more to say. You want to hear more, Dele?
Yeah, always.
Up to 6 now with that win for now. How important does this 3 points feel for your team?
Yeah, it's important. Like I said before the game, we're not happy with where we are. The ability we've got in the squad, we should definitely be higher up, and we've only got ourselves to blame, really. I think we're showing now what we can do as a team, and it's a bit too late. So for us, we just got to finish as strong as we can and keep working in the off season, and take it into next season as well. So
up to 6 now with that win for now.
It kind of sounds like what we've heard almost every year. We're not happy with where we are. We could be playing better. We just got to finish strong, and we'll come together again next year.
What else is he going to say, man?
I know.
Literally, what
I know,
else is he going to say?
It's starting to. It's a little broken record. I mean, I love him. I love seeing him play well. I think when he's on, and he's not 100% yet. We're seeing like 70%. But when he's on and he's good, he's such a spark that we absolutely need. Especially just looking at the second half when he really started to come into the game. That's when we started like really attacking well. Wolves, it was 1-0, and Wolves looked like they had no chance. A lot of 1-0 games, I was waiting. I was always waiting for the equalizer in the 70th, the 80th, whatever. I never felt like that today because we were still pushing. We were still on our front foot. We didn't have that Jose mentality where we were up 1-0. Let's sit back. Let's invite them to come at us and hope to hit them on the counter. We didn't do that today. We were up 1-0.
I do think that a lot of it does come down to confidence. Sure. It seemed like a lot of more players played confidently today. And a lot of it, I think, was sparked by Harry Kane's goal in the 45th minute. That completely changes the mentality, Like knowing that, all right, we're not playing too well right now. We got to step it up. And then all of a sudden we're winning. Oh, my Lord. We can't step it up, right? Like we're winning. Like, let's absolutely chase this. And we saw that in the second half because we played much better. I was pretty surprised that Adama Traore was not used enough because there were 2 times that he picked up the ball in the middle of the pitch and drove at our defense, and both times I was like, this is going to be a goal.
He is a scary
because
player.
He can burn past players like Dyer and Toby, and Wolves have Højbjerg, and Wolves have Fabio Silva, who fluffed a chance. Oh. But overall, I thought he played all right, I just think that clearly they very, very much miss a straight-up number 9, like a Jimenez.
When he gets back next year, I mean, forget about it. And they definitely miss, Jota. I mean, Traore is one of those players that can, almost like Dele, different skill set, but that can just change the game on a head at any point. Mm-hmm. And every time he charged forward, and he would just glide past play with such ease, and our defending was not good. Not even in the box when he was in there. If it wasn't for some really poor finishing from Fabio Silva, we'd be. I keep wanting to call him Adrian Silva, but no, he's Fabio Silva. We'd be in a lot more trouble. But he's only 18. And even here, the commentator made a point at some point saying, hey. This could be a good backup to Kane for the future, somebody to learn from, and potentially. And I was like, that's interesting. What an interesting thought. That was the only good thing the commentators have said the entire match, by the way.
Well, they typically don't have anything good to say, so I'm glad that they at least got one in there.
Yeah, but no, Simon's right. He was super scary. There's another comment saying that Dele came across as humble. Maybe he's got an attitude change. I think, since Jose left, Dele's been. He's perked up. Big time.
For sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I wish I would have seen more Steven Bergwijn, man.
I know.
I'm not sure, why is Sissoko being brought on? And I know, and I get it. It's an 88th minute substitution. It doesn't really matter. I understand, but play the youth. You were a youth player yourself at one point, right? And kudos for playing Tanganga for sure, but. I don't know. I just it doesn't really sit well with me. Just throwing on Musa Sissoko in the 89th minute when you're 2-0 up. Might as well just give that. You as a youth player would know how much it would mean to play any minute in the Premier League, especially for someone who is struggling to get going like Steven Bergwijn. So why not just make the like for like substitution there?
You want to hear what Ryan Mason had to say on Serge Aurier's absence? I don't have the audio yet, but I'll read it to you. He said, we're not too sure with Serge. He trained all week, but he didn't feel 100%, and we didn't feel it was right to have a player on the pitch that isn't 100%, and he didn't either.
Okay. Is he? So he has been linked to PSG, right?
Yeah, I think he's already there.
Yeah.
He's been wanting to go back. He loves his home country. He never really found too much stability here and too much success here. I think he's ready.
It would be really interesting, and this is something that I was exploring while I was writing my Brighton article, my deep dive into Graham Potter. He makes use of wing backs quite a bit, right? He uses a 3 at the back system, somewhat similar to Wolves. And I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, but he uses a lopsided system. So kind of similar to us, actually, like when Serge Aurier was making those runs down the right, and then Ben Davies would clock in for 3 at the back, right? He uses both. But I wonder if there is something to be said. If Graham Potter comes in at Spurs, I wonder if Matt Doherty sees that as a new lease at life, because all of a sudden a system that he has played at Wolves is going to be implemented at Spurs almost immediately, and he does bring something different than what most other wingbacks do. Most wingbacks just are expected to maintain width and cross the ball in. Matt Doherty is pretty unique in that he actually makes underlapping runs to drive into the box and become a goal-scoring threat. So I wonder if, again, like if Potter comes in, he sees Doherty as kind of like a wild card, right? As someone who can change up the system. I don't think that he'll become our starting right wing back by any means, but again, someone who can come in and kind of change up, throw a wrench in the gears a bit as far as what the other team is expecting out of Tottenham.
Do we want that new lease on life for him? I don't know.
I mean, I think he was a good player at Wolves. It's just like he's a system player, right? Like the system for him at Wolves worked, but he's not a traditional fullback, not a traditional wingback. So when he tries to come into a play style that demands traditional fullback and wingback responsibilities from him, he's going to struggle, and that's exactly what we saw from him this season.
Okay. I'm trying to think. So we have Wednesdays coming up pretty quickly. We have 2 matches to go.
Who are we playing Wednesday?
Who are we playing? We're playing Villa.
Before we signed Jack Grealish, eh?
Grealish and company. Listen, Chelsea lost. I'm not saying there's hope. I'm just saying it's not mathematically over.
No. Don't do that to yourself, man.
Yeah,
Don't do it to yourself.
All right. I'm fine in Europe. We deserve Europa League. That's what we're supposed to do.
Let's see if West Brom can put up a fight against Liverpool. They're playing right now, right? And West Brom have been better. They've played better over the last couple of matches. Looking at their form table, they just won their last one. So that's it.
Yeah,
I think.
Basically.
But Liverpool haven't looked too great apart from their Manchester United win. So fingers crossed. If Liverpool drops points against West Brom, I do think that 5th place is there for us. But I think it does depend on that result. Otherwise, I don't see it.
Yeah, I know where we end up. It's going to be 6th, and I'm okay with it because I don't want to do this conference thing. I don't know. I don't think I fully get it yet, but I don't want to do this conference thing. I don't really want to go through qualifiers in June to try to make the Europa League and have to travel to Prague or nothing against Baku, but I don't want to end up with an overnight to Baku.
Baku truly is beautiful, by the way. I would say that the only reason that I'm interested in the Conference League is because it's going to be a bit of money for Spurs, and we need every penny we can get.
Yeah, Daniel Levy definitely has a history of taking goal. Thanks, Simon. Daniel Levy definitely has a history of taking profit and turning it into players. He doesn't. So yeah, I mean, it should be interesting either way. Today's match should be interesting to see how it ends. Wednesday's going to come quicker than we realize, and next weekend, man, like,
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, that's sad.
Sad.
I mean, it's sad, but also very exciting that this season is over, to be completely honest. And we can actually start looking forward to next season and building something again.
Again, how many times have we said that over the last few years?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's just the life of a football fan, man. Like even Wolves are going to have a transition period, you know?
Well, Robson Cano just scored against Liverpool, so up 1.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it, but let's go.
Just saying. So there's that. Yeah, we should have a very exciting week to see how this rounds out. Again, Spurs top Wolves 2-0 in I'm going to say solid win. It was definitely a tale of two halves. Lucky to get that Kane goal right at the end of the first half to kind of give us some momentum. We could have put in more in the second half, but you know what? So could they. So I'm going to walk away happy knowing that we did what we set out to do, and now we just got to take care of business through Wednesday. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, shout out to Reguilon. I think he did relatively well trying to manage Adama Traore when Adama was going down the right flank and going up top. I think he played pretty well compared to how he's played in the past. So shout out to him for stepping it up a bit for this match.
Do you want to talk about Son real quick?
Oh man, I don't, because I'm wearing his shirt, you know. So like.
But when are we going to bring it up? Who's going to bring it up first?
I mean,
I know he had a goal last match. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I get it, and that's just who Son is, you know. Like he is a bit of a streaky player.
Yeah.
He just is, and I think we just have to accept that. Honestly, if he was not a streaky player, he would not be a Tottenham. And it pains me to say that, but if he was able to consistently be as good as we saw, you know, the first half of the season, I'm sorry, but he's probably at a Bayern Munich, because
I don't know about all that, but I know we definitely would not be struggling the way we were if he had the same.
That type of talent, man, like that's unbelievable, right? So obviously we all know he has it. I do think that I would like Mason or whoever the next manager is, have someone leading the line, man. Because right now we have so many players dropping deep to pick up a pass that very rarely is there someone that's kind of like extending or elongating the defensive setup of the opposition team. And that's why there's so little space, right? So like Kane drops deep, Son drops deep. And they do it so quickly that it doesn't allow the other player to kind of get back into position to like stand off the shoulder of the last defender. Son is not great dropping deep. Yes, he comes deep for like to provide a passing option, but very similar to Højbjerg in that he comes square on, right? So all he can really do is just pass it right back.
He tries to play the 1-2 every time, and he goes backwards and moves forward and tries to get around him.
And sometimes like it comes off because I understand like you want to change the angle of a pass for sure, but most of the time it doesn't. And sometimes he just gets caught on the ball trying to turn. So have him. I think he's at his best when he's leading the line and like playing off the last shoulder.
Yeah.
And just keep them up there, right? And then have the other attacking players come deep and kind of use their interplay to progress the ball.
Yeah, it rarely works well when there's interchange between Reguilon and Son on the flank.
Yeah.
You know, when they try to 1-2 with each other, or they try to make something happen, like unless somebody comes over to help them on that side, or it rarely pans out. These players are way better, again, on the front foot, pushing forward, not trying to come deep to collect possession, because that's not where Son's talents lie. And you can see his confidence when he has the ball at his feet. If it's not within the box or around the box, he's shy. He
doesn't know what to do.
He doesn't know what to do. He looks a little lost. Simon wants to know if you would sell him for £100 million.
Son?
Yeah.
I want to sell him. I don't want to sell him. I love Son, man. Like he's such a lovable guy. Like that's like pure non-tactics, non-business take. He's just a great dude,
Well,
and
plus,
I love having him in my club.
when he's in one of his streaks, and his streaks go for like a couple of months. It's not like a match here, match there. But when he's in one of his streaks, he's one of the best players in the world. Honestly, I mean, in my opinion, I think the problem is he can't keep that level of consistency, that high level. And if he ever does for a full year, wow, that'd be something.
I'm honestly, and that he'll probably be the last his last season with us. But anyway, regardless of that, one last point is that another reason that the players drop deep is so that they drag a defender out with them, right? And they can open up space behind them. When that happens with Son, no one exploits that space. So it's just a waste, right? Kane rarely makes those runs into those left-sided channels. He tries to, I think he works more on the right. But no one is jumping into that space that is vacated by either the right-sided center back of the position or the right back. So
I think they try. They just don't succeed. It was a little bit better today with Dele working with them. A little bit, not great, but it was a little bit better today. But they're much better on the break. Just a little. That was a little marketing. Right there.
Well done.
Well done. All right, Andres, we got some more videos coming up after this. This is our live reaction. We appreciate you guys watching and appreciate Simon for being awesome and commentating.
Big Simon, Big Cy.
We will continue to do this for the remainder of the matches this year, both of them. But we have got a lot of other short stuff for you coming out as well. Thank you for spending some time with us after the match. And from Jon and Andres, we'll catch you next time.